What's the word, y'all? We back in action. Look, I had a blast with Smooth B right now. So I had a bunch of messages with Menza. What up, homie? I see you. We're definitely gonna have Smooth B back. I just got a bunch of messages. So we'll definitely, he's got stories, like I said, from Bobby Brown to Pac. The story about Rick James was definitely that was on today. Club 54. Stacy, my sister's on. We're gonna chop it up with CeeLo. So we wait for CeeLo to get in. But that story Smooth B said about Rick James at Studio 54. Now that's exactly what this podcast is about. So while we're waiting for our special guest to get in here, obviously CeeLo Green, he's got an album coming out on the 26th, and he definitely looking forward to that. Also, he's got a single out right now called Doing It All Together. Now this song has a really, really dope vibe to it. And I was telling my wife, it actually kind of reminds me of, we listened to an artist named Leon Bridges. And it definitely has that feel. But Doing It All Together, the vibe right now with everything going on is crazy. So definitely go check it out. If you go to CeeLo's Instagram, he's got a link on there that has the video, the website, the official audio for Doing It All Together. So definitely check this out. Like I said at the beginning of the show too, before Smooth B got on, for me, Soul Food, Goody Mob's first album, is so important to hip hop. That whole Goody Mob movement, and even with Outkast and everything like that, is so important for hip hop. And one of the things that I want to get into with CeeLo is his music background, because is he hip hop? Is he gospel? Is he soul? Is he funky? I mean, there's so many dynamics that CeeLo has that it's kind of hard to pin him into to put him in anything. And I don't know if anybody's heard the Do It All Together song, but the energy of it and the music in it, it's really refreshing to listen to. And again, especially with what's going on. But if you guys want a previous show with Smooth B, or if you guys missed it, it definitely is on the Instagram already, that you can look at. But I want you to stay focused here on this show, because we have CeeLo on. And we definitely can get into it. But Smooth B is a lot of fun. And what's crazy is with Smooth B and Nice and Smooth, we come from, you don't really see, we talk about this a lot, but we don't really see a lot of groups anymore. Everybody's a solo artist. I mean, I guess you could say Migos is, kind of the only one, but man, there were some dynamic duos back then, from Nice and Smooth, to EPMD and I mean, a little bit later, but like Dog Pound and Mobb Deep and Outkast, Goody Mob. You don't really see a lot of groups right now. So, one of the things I want to go into again with CeeLo is the transition from, how did he transition, or how well did he think he transitioned from being in a group to a solo artist? Brand Nubian. Yeah, absolutely. Brand Nubian. I mean, Onyx, DOS Effects, shit, we did last week. We just had Capadonna on, Wu-Tang. I don't care what anybody says. Like, it's got to be tough being a big group. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to rap by yourself and do that, but to keep a whole group, yeah, MOP, exactly. You don't see it a lot anymore, and it's kind of refreshing when you go look at some of these old videos and listen to this old. It was just a time when the people just looked like they were having so much fun. Todd Davis, what up? I see you. You missed the Smooth B interview, homie. Yeah, Smooth. I mean, and you could tell Smooth B is a good dude. Just his, like, kind of we talked about his aura, his he said listen to the universe. You could tell he just has a good vibe. And I'm sorry, the dude talking about smoking a joint with Rick James at Studio 54. I mean, that says it all right there. All right there. Yeah, so Goody Mob Soul Food definitely, is an album that's a classic hip hop album. I don't know how you would listen to hip hop and not know that album, at least the single. You know what I mean? Who's that through my window? But the whole album. I mean, that whole vibe from that camp down there was just so crazy. I was a huge Outkast fan, obviously, and then that goes into Goody Mob, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Goody Mob stands for the good dies mostly over bullshit, and that always stuck with me growing up. That moniker, or whatever you call it, it always stuck with me because it was definitely, you saw it every day. And actually, we got our special guest in here, so let's get him on. Go. What's the podcast? And CeeLo Green, how you doing today, man?
What's up, King? How are you?
Man, I'm beautiful, beautiful. I was actually breaking down a little bit. We have some younger people that follow us, so I was breaking down a little bit of the Goody Mob history. And
Okay.
we also were getting in the single. First off, congratulations on the single, doing all together. The vibe of it is just something that really needs to be heard right now.
Oh, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm glad people are, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, and anybody listening, if you go to CeeLo's Instagram, he's got a link on there that takes you to everything he's doing. So you got an album coming out on the 26th, correct?
I do.
Tell me a little bit about this new project and this new album.
It's my first full-length project in about 5 years. It's called CeeLo Green as Thomas Calloway, and that was just me trying to address the duality of which one is an extrovert, one is an introvert. Thomas Calloway being my natural, authentic self. CeeLo Green is persona, and so it was just more or less trying to imply a balance. And I just feel like this is a really stripped down, sentimental, and sweethearted project. You know what I mean? And I believe that it's just like the next natural progression for me. It's of age, it's mature, it's like a fine wine or even a sweet tea because it's very Southern. And it was recorded in Nashville. Me and Dan Arabic from the Black Keys, we recorded it in Nashville, all live, completely organic, completely original body of work. It's pretty amazing and impressive to say the least. But then again, I'm biased.
Well, no, but the whole sound is very genuine. It a lot of soul. I was talking earlier too. My wife and I have been really big on a cat named Leon Bridges lately, and I love his soul, and that kind of had this, vibe to it, just real musical, real energetic. Is it a hard balance? You talked about the introvert to is that a hard balance to try to maintain?
It's a little easier for me because I'm a Gemini, and so I believe that the plight of the Gemini in nature is to master oneself. And then so it's constant internal dialogue, you know what I mean? And so it's definitely been a process. And I'm still a work in progress, but this is a point of realization, in this day and time and in real time. So yeah, I mean, no, it wasn't impossible at all. You know what I mean? I'm very comfortable in my own skin.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta ask this because I've always wondered, you musically, because never pin yourself into a certain category. Are you gospel? Are you hip hop? Are you soul? Are you funk? What is it that made you after all this time? Even at the beginning, what made you you? What experience did you have to make you CeeLo?
Well, let me see. I just I began to take notice to the things that that spoke to me, as a youth, the wide, vast variety of listening palette, in the way that I was able to retain these things and then reiterate them um, as an original extension of oneself. You know what I mean? And so it's just to exude what I've been inspired by. Um, so essentially, you know, I consider myself, and I say this quite often, to be a bigger fan than anything. So, you know, and I always say this as well. The first ingredient to being great at anything is having great taste. You know what I'm saying? And so I did not really know that music would be my respective field so early on. Um, but certain songs spoke to me, whether it was um, whether it was Jack and Diane by John Cougar Mellencamp. You know what I mean? Like there was something soulful about it. There was something um, hip hop about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fusion of those two vibrations made it an alternative. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I went back further with him because I'm using him as an example, you know, and as a reference. Uh, the first record I liked from John Cougar Mellencamp was "Hurt So Good."
Yeah.
You know that record? So, but back then, when I was young, I wanted to be a biker. You know what I mean? And if you recall that video, it was shot in this like bar. You know what I mean? Like, you know, everybody pulling up on the motorcycles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ride motorcycles as a kid. I wanted to wear my sleeves cut off my jean jacket like Dirty Dan from Sha Na Na. Now, see, I'm showing my age, man, but I'm trying to really relate in real time. You know, the way that I've been able to retain it. You know what I mean? Like I can, it's easier to recall in retrospect. You know what I mean? Like I did not really know exactly why it spoke to me or why I identified with, John Cougar, for example, or the Plasmatics, or you know what I mean, Motley Crue in the '80s. You know what I mean? But I'm just a really um, I'm just a unique black kid, man, from Atlanta, Georgia. Kind of like a nerd, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot about music, and I know a lot of music. You know what I mean? A lot of different types, and I just think that it just gave me when it was my turn, I believe that it just gave me a license. You know what I mean? The way that they say, you know, fall back on a formal education. Um, but also it gave me a universality. You know, if I was going to do it, I was going to do it at the greatest magnitude, the way that the '80s pop, you know what I mean, like sensation was, whether that be Culture Club or Duran Duran, or you know, even I see somebody saying Bruce Springsteen. I used to love, you know, Dancing in the Dark. You know what I'm saying? You know, and Born in the USA, there was just such a big, bona fide, undeniable hit record. You know what I mean? And so those hit records didn't discriminate. And so I didn't think that I was doing my own voice or my own opportunity justice if I wasn't at least attempting. You know what I mean? Like, um, you know, to reach that many people at a time. So I see Steely Dan. Yep, Steely
Yeah.
Dan's one of my favorite. Billy Idol, White Wedding, Darren Hall. Come on, man, you know that. So all of that, all of that. So I'm saying all of that to say I'm just a fan, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know, don't make me up to be anything, man. Like I'm humble. You know what I mean? Like there's so many other people that are greater than me. Prince, for example. I see somebody saying Prince. My bad. I'm paying attention to the
No,
comments.
that's why we distracting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But go ahead, man. I'll get to rambling all night if you let me.
How was the transition for you to come from such a I mean, I don't even know the word for Goody Mob, but such a dynamic group, and then going into something solo? How was that transition for you?
Well, Goody Mob was like um, the Boys Club. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the Boys Club. It was like the Boy Scouts. It was like Job Corps. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I knew I had a mission statement written across my heart. Um, Destination unknown. Did not know where it would lead me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did um, identify with it as a genuine article. And so Goody Mob gave me a place and a space to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was exclusive and specific to those that itemized list of topical things that we addressed effectively and emotionally. Um, but it was not the whole of me. You know what I'm saying? Being that I'm only representing a 25, you know, a quarter's worth. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, of what that group sentiment was. And so, you know, I just knew that I had much, much more to say, much, much more that I was capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear a lot of gospel in you. Did you, as a kid, were you in gospel or sing any gospel or anything? I hear a lot of people say that.
Yeah, of course. Both my mother and father were ministers.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hear a lot of it. And
yeah,
I got a question, and my kids are going to kill me if I ask. I seen it a lot as I was promoting the show. You got a chance to work on American Dad as well, right?
I did.
What was that experience like? I believe it's the hot tub episode.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Well, it was dope because when they gave me the script, you know, I immediately knew that it was a parody of Little Shop of Horrors. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
Which was, you know, Rick Moranis
yeah,
from Ghostbusters fame and Spaceballs. You know
yeah,
all of that good stuff. See, I know his name by heart. I know Rick Moranis. I know it. You know what I mean? So with that, I jumped at the opportunity. I'm such a big fan of Seth MacFarlane, you know, American Dad, Family Guy, you know, and so for those guys to acknowledge me, there's such a team of brilliant individuals. You know, it's just nice to be probably the dumbest person in that room and on that conference call. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be I want to be around the good energy. I want to
yeah,
be around the greats, the enthusiastic, you know, the excellent, you know, so I can improve myself, you know, in the same stroke, you know, as the opportunity presents itself and opens up for me.
yeah. I just the whole experience, and like you said, you guys are so smart and so witty. It's hard to, it's hard to put yourself in a room there and am I supposed to be here? Type of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So we got the new
Yo, is your name Diar?
Diar. It's my entertainment name. It's what I've gone for a long time.
Oh yeah, I know the playoff of Diar Lansky.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, small world. A few years ago, one of my good friends in music is Big Whutz from Above the Law. And a few years ago, we were doing The Black Godfather, and I produced a lot on that. And the track that you spit on with Hutch, I produced.
Oh really?
Yeah, I did
Man.
that whole
Uh,
album with him and Layla and them. I was actually there when they reached out to get the song done and whatnot. So
that's funny, man, because I have a '68 Lincoln Continental, and it's been sitting in the shop in LA for about 5 years, and I just had it shipped here. And we were just cleaning it up and taking it for a spin, and we were playing some Willie Hutch, and I was explaining to my wife how, you know, Hutch, you know, aka Cole 187 from
yeah,
Above the Law, was actually related to Willie Hutch, who produced the soundtrack to the Mac, and you know that's I Choose You, and you know all of that good stuff.
yeah, it was his uncle.
Yep.
And in fact, Cocaine, Jerry Long, they were all part of the Motown. His dad wrote a bunch. Yeah. I mean, Willie Hutch. It's amazing how thing goes in a circle because you have like Hutch and then have someone like Cole 187 who at the time really changed the game too. I mean, that whole Ruthless camp was untouched. But I
Yeah,
know you
no doubt.
guys go back quite a long time, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to the OG Hutch. That's big bro for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spoke with Laylaw earlier, and he sent his regards to you as well.
Oh, that's the legend right there, man. You know what I mean? Like he's a pillar.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, how have you been through all this coronavirus and everything going on? I hope you and your family been safe. What has changed for you during these current circumstances?
Well, you know, to be totally honest, you know, we travel together and separately pretty extensively on an average day. And in all honesty, it was an opportunity to unplug, you know, and be still,
Yeah.
um, and hard reset and reconnect, and get closer to each other,
Yeah.
be prayerful, be meditative, be thoughtful, kind, and considerate. Because my wife lost her father and uncle days apart early this March, as the pandemic was just starting um, to take shape. You know what I mean? And so it was for unrelated health reasons, but still just as real, still
Absolutely.
just as permanent. You know what I'm saying? So we were dealing with a lot of actual loss and pain, and trying to be strong throughout this kind of unwarranted, ordeal. And so we looked at it as an opportunity to just get close, love on each other, as much as we possibly could. Fortunately for me, we were living in Miami primarily, and we just happened to be in Atlanta when everything was here. And I'd always said, man, me being a conspiracy theorist, in my own right, I had always said if something like this was ever to happen, I really wanted to be somewhere. I didn't want to be across the world somewhere.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get to my people. So just so happens I was in Atlanta, where I'm from. I was able to get to my son. I was able to make sure everybody was cool. And we have a property out in the country. So, we retreated out to the country, which is like an hour outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's, pretty damn socially distanced. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And, and so, but, just a lot of hard work and sacrifice afforded me that type of, alternative means,
Yeah.
but we were not disconnected. We were still tuned in and tapped in, and finding that compassion and that empathy, and sending that love and that support for anybody, who had been stricken with the virus, anyone who lost somebody as well, and cabin fever is a bitch too. So like, what I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think people, were prepared at all to be quarantined for what ended up 3 months. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You always see those memes go around that, for $1 million, would you be in a cabin with no phone, no da for 3 months? We saw people that not get that. It was interesting to see with LA. I'm very familiar with LA, but it was watching LA shut down was actually really refreshing. The smog went away, the traffic went away. When you did see people out at the grocery stores and essential places, they were a lot nicer, because they were happy out. So it really was a real reflective part of time. It's something we'll remember forever in history.
Absolutely, man. I had said on a couple of different occasions that we saw it as an opportunity, not an ordeal. You know what I mean? Although it was for quite a few. Um, but yeah, like we took it as a grand opportunity to reconnect with what's real. I'm saying, like, what's righteous.
Yeah.
You know, the natural resource of the sun and land, and out on the property, just walking the property, getting those steps in, getting that cardio, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, like having a daily regiment, you know what I'm saying, like showing each other that we are, shoulder to shoulder in a struggle, giving ourselves drills, you know what I mean, like talking, becoming more informed, and you know, um, just aware, you know what I mean, like of ourselves, you know what I mean, like, stemming from the circumstance. And it was just an opportunity for self reflection, and
So
self introspection and self improvement. You know what I mean, like, and I feel like now we're out of the dark, of it. You know what I mean, and then you head into another chapter, of something totally different and unexpected as well. You know, I think we're a little bit more prepared to fight the longer fight. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
know, I think it brought a lot to people's eyes of what we take for granted. Well, I mean, when you slow down, you can see everything at a distance, and I don't know. I mean, I hate that we lost so many lives, and everybody expects this. My wife's actually a nurse on the front lines, goes to work every day and um, sees it every day. But we learned a lot about ourselves the last few months. We really. Now, did it? I know you're releasing a new album, so you can focus on that. But did it spring any new ideas musically? Kind of been in the country and doing your thing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the CeeLo Green's Thomas Calloway project was already done, and to be totally honest, we had already missed a deadline um, of an earlier release, and so we were a little at odds, and you know, uh, trying to figure out just where exactly would it fit, what would be, an effective time. And a lot of the songs lend themselves to, the energy in the air, and filled a void. People were still enough to, they were still enough to not only hear the album but really listen to it. You know what I mean? And that's a uh, a step further than we've been able to go, than we allow ourselves to go in modern times, as it pertains to modern music.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is trend, everything else is ADD, it's like we just don't have the time. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not instantly gratifying,
Hey, immediate.
yeah, you know what I mean? So I understand that, but we should also understand that as an issue, a psychological and a social issue as well. You know what I mean? Like, we should address that.
Yeah, and I have to. I ask this to a lot of artists, but it's real curious. Do you listen to your own music?
I don't enjoy it, to be totally honest. It makes me feel completely awkward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really listen to my own music, and I've hardly ever watched myself on television or anything, man. Like, I don't think, I mean, I know what I did, but,
Yeah.
I don't sit and, go back and, check out episodes of The Voice and stuff like that, like, or anything, like, and I thought that maybe it was something that was just unique unto me, until I watched an interview with Johnny Depp, and he said the same thing. He said he had never watched any of his own music,
Yeah.
of his own movies, and then I said, wow. I said, okay, so I felt a lot better, and then it made even more sense to find out that he was a Gemini too. So I'm like, maybe it's a Gemini thing. I don't know.
It's interesting you say that because I saw an interview a while ago with Kiefer Sutherland, and he said one of his movies that he watched himself was when he was on Stand By Me, and he said he made him feel so awkward that he never watched another movie that he was in again ever. It's interesting though, because besides the mixing process, stuff like that, I hear that a lot of times, with the artists. And speaking of The Voice, what was that experience like for you, live TV?
It was gratifying. It was a life-changing opportunity, an experience on a personal and a professional level. Um, I missed the energy and the excitability of it all. But when it was a fresh format, and we were responsible for the reaction and the reciprocated love, you know what I mean, like, in good energy and response, it's like, it was wonderful. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I talked to Adam recently. We called and checked on each other. Spoke to Blake recently, because I just did something with the last finale of this season. We did a Zoom group performance of "Let My Love Open the Door" by Pete Townsend. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying? If you blink, you missed it, but I was on there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I
it
didn't
was cool.
miss it. I definitely blinked.
Yeah, and and just just on some cool fun fact, you know what I mean? We have talked about maybe possibly getting the original crew and cast back together, and maybe doing it, for all of the fans, because there's really not a day that goes by that I don't hear somebody say, "I miss you" on The Voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, you know what? I miss me on The Voice.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing it though.
Yeah. I worked in production for a little bit. I used to do boom mic for TV shows and commercials and stuff. And I just know live production is a whole different beast. So, you either love it or you hate it.
Oh no, definitely, man. Like, it's tedious, it's taxing, it could be exhausting. You know what I mean? And once the show became such an enormous success, you then have to supply that demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of wear and tear. And people don't realize, and our job is making it look as easy and as entertaining as it ultimately does.
The
But
presence
it's a lot.
immaculate.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And you know what? To be totally honest, when my relationship had run its course with the show. I was happy to take a break from it, and kind of go back to moving around because you know, I'm a peacock, man. You know what I mean? I like to, I like to float, man, and do my thing. So I went to Vegas and did my own Vegas residency, and I ended up,
Dope.
making a little history with that. It was called CeeLo Green as Loberace at the Planet Hollywood, and it was
I know
dope. It was,
seeing that. I do remember seeing that now.
yeah. I actually had another one. It's called Man in the Mirror that I was supposed to do in March of this year, and then everything happened, and then we were postponing it for August, and then I just got called recently that we're going to postpone it all into next year. So, that's a little shameless plug, man. If you're in Vegas, come check out my new residency, man, next year.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're in LA. We're a 3.5 hour drive. So when you do it, we will definitely be out there and check you out.
Oh yeah, I used to live in Vegas too around that time, so I've done that drive back and forth to LA a handful of times. I love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a fan ask, and it's actually a really good question, if the industry still feels fresh and fresh to you.
If what feels fresh?
The music industry right now, does it still feel fresh to you? Does it still feel you still have them feeling the same game? How it changed you? It,
Uh, well, I'm still really ambitious. I don't think that I've um, exceeded, my ability. I don't think that I've worn out my welcome. Um, I'm still thriving in the creative space, and I meant to kind of expound upon that when you asked, like during the quarantine. Man, we've been recording another Goody Mob album during this time, so nah, man, I'm back really in my rap bag, and I had the convenience of doing so because the project that we're supporting and promoting right now was already done. You know what I mean? Like I had no idea that it would have worked so well and been, embraced as such a timely sentiment. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Records like Lead Me, which was the first single, and then the second record, Doing It All Together. It's really got a real human race kind of quality to it. You know what I mean? Like it's a nice project. June 26th for that project. I think people are going to really enjoy it. And then also Goody Mob sometime later this year. Yeah, somebody asked me, am I rapping and singing? Well, I'm singing on that one, but I'm definitely rapping, on this new Goody Mob project.
you guys are so Goody Mob, just so talented. I had the privilege with Hutch's project working with Big Gip as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's so refreshing. I mean, even though we did the coast to coast thing for your stuff for Hutch's album, it was just so refreshing doing music with you guys. I mean, just definitely a little bucket list, that I get to check off. I saw another person ask about your mass singer experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was cool. Um, that was great because I was seeing the format and the concept of the show, and I was like, damn, man, obviously, man, like I'll dress up and go on stage on a regular day. So like I said, that's right down my alley. You know what I mean? Like I would love to do it. I would love an opportunity to do it. Then they reached out to me, and so I was flown out to England, and I was out there for 2 weeks, and it was really strict top flight security secret. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so we had to travel around with gloves, hoodies, super duper mask. Like it was basically like this. You know what I mean? Uh, and it was about 2 weeks of filming. I had the monster outfit, the big blue monster. It was dope, man, because I got a chance to really work with the music supervision, and I suggested some of the songs that I sang. And if I had continued on, I would have got to sing some of the other favorites that were already slated for me to perform. But it was fun, man. Like like England is really fond of me. I you
absolutely.
know I did really well in England, all over the world actually, but England especially. And for anybody who's never traveled to the UK, they love and adore, and are advocates of soul music. That's all you'll ever hear. You'll hear Adele and Etta James, on the same station. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So we were staying at a great hotel. As a matter of fact, it's called the Edition Hotel, and it's owned by Ian Schrager, who was co-owner of Studio 54 in New York. So I was wondering. I said, first of all, we love the decor, but it was all of this great '70s music. You know what I mean? Like just on repeat. Um, you know, and I said, wow, like this is like a great playlist. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then to find out that he owns it, and I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Then we ultimately end up meeting him, and we're invited to the grand opening of the edition on Sunset in L.A. And I got a chance to meet him personally. Great guy.
Yeah. Ironically, you brought up Studio 54. The guest I had on before you was Smooth B from Nice and Smooth, and he told
One of my favorites.
and he was telling the story. He said it was like 1983, and his brother invited him to Studio 54, and he smoked a big old joint with Rick James, the Studio 54, just before
Really?
you got on. Yeah, just before you got on. So that's interesting.
Smooth B. My rhymes express awareness. As I possess finesse and we share this, I'm at the top of the pile. My long rhymes stand infinite mile because I'm building a new rap level. Through bass and treble, I will abolish the devil. I must prevail. Smooth beat, too fresh, to be stale. I stay deaf beyond 2000. Come on, man. I'm a nice and smooth fan. Those are my favorite records coming out.
Yeah, he just dropped a new single, and like I said, we just had him on the show right before you, so it was definitely refreshing to hear some of his stories. Dude been around a long time.
Yeah, no doubt. Send my love to Smooth B. I don't got no line on him, man, but let him know I got nothing but love for him. Greg Nice, Special K, and Teddy
Yeah,
Ted. They awesome too. I mean, come on, man.
absolutely. So, okay, before we let you go, we got the album on the 26th. Um, I know we still kind of in somewhat quarantine, but what's next after that? The Goody Mob album, your album. What's after that?
Well, I'm a free agent. I could do just about, what I want. I mean, and so these formal projects are already, in motion, you know what I mean? And so I probably garnish, here and there with some independent releases, a mixtape or something like that. I'm actually working on a mixtape with my son, who's an accomplished producer and musician, and
Excellent.
we was calling it Like Father, Like Gun. You know what I'm saying? So he's dope, man. His name is Poinsettia.
Okay, dope. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So, okay, that's awesome. I just saw somebody was in here from Kuwait. I love how we reach people all across. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Well, we really appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the record. I'm glad you and your family are staying safe. And again, I really appreciate you, and the fans really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And keep it up. I mean, you influence the game so much, and your voice is still being heard. And I can't wait to hear more, especially to hear you in your rap bag again, because you're one of my favorite MCs personally.
Ah.
But so I look forward to hearing more, and stop by again and chop it up with us, and we'll keep we'll keep it alive. Hip hop day.
I most certainly will. Thank you for having me. God bless you and yours. And I'm
Absolutely.
glad that you're safe and you're strong and doing your thing, man, and getting the message to the people, man. And much love to everybody that tuned in tonight. Thank y'all. Much love.
Absolutely. Congratulations. We're ready for the new record. We'll talk.
Yes, sir.
Peace. CeeLo Green in the house. This is how we do it. The Word Podcast.
That was dope.
Dope episode. Dope Saturday. Hip Hop Saturday. Much love to Smooth B. Much love to CeeLo Green. I have the show booked for next Saturday. I'm going to be making the flyers today. I got some very special guests. And I appreciate everybody who's been tuning in. Look, I've gotten so much support on this show since we've been doing it with Instagram Live. And I can't thank you guys enough. If you want to see any of these repeats of these shows, obviously you can go on to my Instagram. You can go to whatsthewordpodcast.com. You can also go to Facebook, What's the Word Podcast, and just keep the support alive. Look, with everything going on right here, a lot of times we got to slow down, and we really just got to talk to each other. And that's why I love these dialogues on the show, especially with the Lil Devil. I see you, homie. I love the interaction. People can see their face, can talk to them. Obviously, we're not as big as the Versus, You know what I'm saying? But we getting there. We getting there. So all the love and support for everybody that tunes in every Saturday. We'll be back next Saturday, 5 o'clock. I would definitely have the names of who we having on very, very soon. And I thank everybody for tuning in. Definitely dope, man. Really good interviews today. Again, what's the word podcast.com. You know, keep it live, keep it locked. We definitely here for you. I hope everybody's safe. Um, you know, keep doing what you're doing because they're starting to hear us. They're starting to hear us, and it starts here. It starts with one voice. You know what I'm saying? And I saw someone earlier say that, Soul Food, the album, and self therapy and stuff like that. It's really relevant today, and a lot of stuff that Goody Mob talked about is very relevant today. So them saying a new Goody Mob record is coming right on time. June 26th, go get CeeLo's new record. Go to his Instagram and definitely check out the new single that's on there. He's also got the Lead Me video up there. So go check out everything. I love y'all. I will see everybody next Saturday. What's the Word Podcast? Bam. Hey, yeah, Fury. Hey, yeah, you know what? It's such a good album. It really is. There's a certain part of Soul Food for what I was going through at the time that sticks with me. Like some of the stuff I was going through at the time when Soul Food came out is really, stuck with me. So that's why that album in particular, really stands out. But hey, I mean, can we say like with CeeLo on the Southern Playlistic album, you know what I mean? Which Outkast Southern Playlistic album is an absolute classic. You know, you got to get up, get out, and get something. I mean, to this day, you can still play that song and it sounds like it's new. You know what I'm saying? So, no, definitely is. But again, I appreciate y'all. I know Instagram probably about to kick me off. I love y'all. See you next Saturday. Again, go look at the replay. Go check out Smooth B. Go check out the other shows we have, the Beanie Seagulls, Inspector Dex, the Capadonna, the Daddy O, Master Ace, Pete Rock, PMD. I've interviewed a bunch of people. It's on there. Go do the knowledge. What's the Word Podcast? We'll definitely see you next Saturday. Peace.